What's going on? It's your boy Will Mike Craven. Yeah, what's going on with you? What I want to say this here is that the most important thing you can gain in this life is knowledge. It's the most important thing you can ever gain. Why? Because everything is centered around knowledge. Without knowledge, you cannot be as proficient unless you gain it. And that's almost with everything you do. Why? Because knowledge is going to bring you some type of pain. Pain allows growth. So I know you're like, well, how does knowledge bring pain? Well, when you don't know something and you're not knowledgeable about it, it may make you frustrated. And if you're frustrated, you then feel some type of negativity. And pain is a negativity, it's an uncomfortableness. So when you don't know something, you may try to perpetrate like you do to mask from the shame of not knowing something, because you don't want to be looked at as ignorant, stupid, or dummy, or whatever, whichever those are. But in order to gain knowledge, you have to go through pain, and you can see that in your children when they do schoolwork. They try to be slick sometimes and get out of doing schoolwork because they don't like it. They don't want to do it. They want to go have fun. Stuff that's fun doesn't really require that much knowledge, or they've already gained knowledge of it, so therefore it is fun. So it's one of two things. You've gained actually, it ain't one of two things. I say it's just one thing. Going to go play is you go play, you learn a game or something or whatever it is, and now because you learn it, it's fun. So it's the same thing with other. It's same thing with other things that you have the knowledge of. So if you have knowledge of algebra, you know how to do it. It's easy. You look at it, you smile, you laugh, like, all right, come on, whatever, next. Going to do hair. If you know how to do hair, and you gain the knowledge. You're not going to damage somebody's hair. You're not sitting there worried that, if I mess her hair up, she may hate me for the rest of my life. That doesn't happen. Same thing is if you're cutting hair, whatever. Same thing with if somebody call you to do a job, and if you got the knowledge, you're not worried about it. But if you are not as knowledgeable, you may be one of those ones. Let me go put on my phone, look up YouTube how to do such. You're a little nervous. So that nervous makes you a little uncomfortable. It makes you unsure. In which, if you're though, that is still also, in a sense, a form of pain. So, and not knowing certain things, it makes you uncomfortable. But the minute you learn something, you're sure about yourself. You're secure. So a lot of relationships, you generally falter is because you lack the knowledge in a certain area. So after it's over and done, you then start to realize you start questioning things. You're taking account of what happened. And when you start taking account of what happened, that's a learning process. And then when you start learning what some of the things you did, it becomes painful because it's like, oh man, if I'd have known that, or man, I could have did such. Which is why some people, once they learn something, they try to actually go back to that person because it's like, okay, I learned this now. Maybe we can fix it and do this again. But chances are that you got that one opportunity, and most people are like, I don't want to do this again. Why? So in some regards that they didn't fully learn because it's like, oh, I remember that. That was painful. So, but because it was painful, they gained that knowledge. Also, they did gain knowledge. It's like, I don't want to do that again. Because anytime you're in a relationship with somebody, you have to turn around and be knowledgeable of a lot of things. And especially as a man, in which we are considered by the masses to be the leader of a relationship, it is on us to actually know a lot more. And this is in some reason why I think a lot of men shy away from certain relationships or certain situations, because it requires you to actually be knowledgeable. And the reality is, if you are knowledgeable, you're going to have to put in a lot more work. Why? Because in knowledge, you have to share it or teach it. And when you're teaching and sharing it, you have to actually learn the person's capacity and how they take in information. Because the most important thing when information is given is not the communicated part. It's the comprehension part. See, we have a tendency of thinking that communication is key. Communication is the most important. It is not. I can talk to you in Spanish, and if you don't know Spanish, I did all this communication, but you comprehended nothing I said. Same thing with any other language. So if I'm giving you all this knowledge and me being the teacher or the leader part, I have to be capable of making sure that you're comprehending what I'm saying. So that means I can't get frustrated that you're not understanding this. And this is a hard feat because we sometimes have a tendency to do this with our kids. We're trying to teach them. So because they're not getting it. And it usually happens, you do that when there's somebody of some type of importance to you. So you want them to get it faster than somebody you don't know because it's like, oh, I can walk away from you, whatever. But with somebody you know and you start caring about, it works differently. So there's a lot more pressure on you to actually get it done. So not only is the lack of knowledge bad, but knowledge also brings pain. But because of knowledge, you also having pressure, and the right amount of pressure can bring pain as well. So we have this tendency to think that if you talk more, you'll get more done. No. Knowledge aspect of it is to understand that comprehension part to where that, all right, once we're comprehending this, we're on the same page. It's like word problems. It's like when you were in school, you got various paragraphs in English to make sure to test you on how well you comprehend what was happening in the story. So when we're talking to each other, you have to make sure that this person is actually comprehending exactly what it is you're saying. Because if they're not, there's going to be a problem that arises. And if there's a problem arising, then you're going to have an issue on your hands. I mean, it's really just that simple. You're going to have an issue on your hands. And you have to have the knowledge to work around the issue. And if you're not capable of working around issues, it's just going to be hard, man. It's going to really be hard, which is why you have to have a nice amount of knowledge. But if you don't have a nice amount of knowledge and the other person doesn't have a nice amount of knowledge, can you get by? Yes, you can. You can get by if both of you are cool, calm, collective, and you understand that, okay, you were just going through something today. I'll brush it off because I know how they are. Or you've been with them long enough to say, whatever, that don't bother me anymore. Time actually allowed you to be that way. But yeah, one of the most important things in life is knowledge. If you're ignorant, you can be exposed and taken advantage of. Really that simple. We call that being green. So as they say, knowledge is power. The more knowledge you have, the more power you can exert. And in that power, sometimes we find power to be attractive. So the more knowledge that you have, knowledge is power, which is the true power, then it makes you that much more attractive. So which is why you'll have some women say, oh man, she's smart. I find that sexy. Or dude like, oh man, hey man, she brilliant, man. She just do something to me. I feel that from her. It's that energy, I feel all that because how smart she is and blah, blah, blah. Because knowledge is power, and power is another aspect of attraction. And in order to have that, you have to become more knowledgeable. But you also have to understand that when you have that type of power, you become influential. And the more influential you can become, the more attractive you can become, the more people want to be around you. So, with that being said, you can hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. As I always say, fix your face, fix your feelings, and take the stuff in. Don't move in your feelings. That's all the time. And the minute you hear something real quick, you ready to get upset. No, fix your face, fix your feelings, move in peace. Understand that, I may not like everything I hear, but let me dissect it. As my grandma used to say, scale the fish, spit out the bones.